good, everybody? It's the Height Differential. We're back. Took some time off on Sunday to mourn some news up there in Cincinnati, but I'm Nick. He's Neil. Neil, how's your Wednesday going?
As the week goes by, we're starting to feel a little bit better. I mean, we needed some time off. You know, it was rough on Sunday. We celebrated hard. We cried hard, but we needed a couple days off to get past it. Now we're looking forward. We can't look back. We got to look forward.
We can't look back. And I will say my week actually got a little worse as I got home on Tuesday and found my ceiling had fallen down in my basement on top of my washer and dryer. So we dealt with that all day today.
Did you get that fixed?
Pulling out the drywall in the ceiling, and figured out it was the refrigerator, which I had got in November, had evidently been leaking ever since it was installed. Little slow drip, but those add up. And yeah, came home to that yesterday. So that was fun. It was fun dealing with that today, but it's good. It's good to be back on the mic and talk a little football, even if some of the news is sad.
Yeah.
So everybody knows the sad news. Joe Burrow hurt again. The Bengals still figured out a way to win 31-27 as Jake Browning Supermaned into the end zone in the closing seconds to secure the win. But you're 0-2. I mean, you're 2-0. I mean, I'm used to them being 0-2, which is probably why I said it. But you lost your star quarterback once again.
Tough. Absolutely tough. 2-0 is huge. I mean, if you have any hope of trying to make the playoffs with the backup quarterback, you know, I'm glad Jake Browning's on my side. I think he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. He's obviously got experience. I mean, he's played a lot of football the last couple of years with the injuries to Joe. But if you're trying to make the playoffs starting 0-2, if he can just keep the ship afloat, hopefully, maybe, fingers crossed, toes are crossed, that Joe maybe, slightly chanced, can come back in mid-December. I mean, if he can just keep us afloat until then, you know, I think we got a chance at this thing.
Well, I think you gotta find more things to cross if you're hoping for Burrow to be back in. I mean, obviously, yeah, you're hoping for that, but I just they're 3 months. The best case scenario is he coming back with 3 games. I think it's going to be tough for that to happen. And I'm trying not to talk myself into it because I don't want to get my hopes up once again. But yeah, I mean, the thing with Browning is, you know, he kept them alive in the playoff hunt 2 years ago. He went 4-3 as a starter. It was 21-32 for 241. You know, 2 touchdowns. He did throw 3 picks, but he also had that rushing touchdown to win the game. He's proven that he can win games in this league, but I mean, anytime you drop from Joe Burrow was everybody's MVP candidate on all the betting apps. He was getting more money than anybody else, and now for the third time in 6 years, and all 3 different injuries, and 2 of these injuries, the wrist injury 2 years ago, and now this turf toe, are really injuries that we haven't seen before at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, I mean, you hear turf toe and you're like, oh, you know, he's out for a couple games. I mean, I've never heard. It's very, very rare that you have a surgery on a turf toe. So it sucks, but you're right. It's been different injuries each time. So I don't think that Joe's fragile by any means. Like you hear that being thrown around. I mean, sure, but I mean, I don't know. It's tough to explain. I don't think. I mean, obviously not connected. It just sucks. I don't know.
Well, you know, the tough part was obviously he goes out, and you're just hoping that it's not the worst, right? You're hoping he's just out for that game, maybe a couple weeks, and we're driving home from Cincinnati, and we're here in 4 weeks, right? 4 weeks. Like, you can handle that. You started off 2-0. You know, even if you lose the next 4 games, you're back in the hole where you usually are. You know, you're 2-4, and now you're getting your quarterback, you know, back. But, you know, the worst case news we got was obviously would have been being the season over, but 3 months is almost the equivalent of that. I mean, you talked about him not being fragile, and, you know, I don't want to say he is, but it's now happened in 50% of his season.
I mean, no, fragile to me is you have you've got multiple knee injuries, or your shoulder's been hurt for, It's just like a nagging injury here. Like it's almost like it's the same thing. A turf toe to me does not mean you're fragile, or a torn ligament in your toe doesn't mean to me that you're fragile. It would mean that you had shoulder issues for multiple years, or you've had knee issues for several years. Something like that. Not a freak turf toe injury where it's so bad that you tore a ligament in the bottom of your toe. Like I don't know, man. It just doesn't make any sense.
So who is at fault here? If it's anybody.
I mean, everybody wants to blame the offensive line, and rightfully so. Like if he's not under pressure running for his life, he's probably not getting some of these injuries. With the wrist injury in Baltimore a couple years ago, and him, I don't even know how he did the toe injury. I know he was getting sacked. It didn't even look like it was bad. So how you just do that, I have no idea. To me, I didn't think that's a fluke injury. But I mean, if we're looking for somebody to blame, I don't know if there's one person, five people, the whole offensive line, the coaching staff, the organization. I mean, I think there's blame to be passed on everybody.
I think there is. And, Dalton Reiser talked about it after the game. It was his guy that he missed on that tackle. And the quarterbacks are going to get hit whether there's pressure or not. They're going to get hit throughout the game. But the numbers for the Bengals pass protection since Joe Burrow has been the quarterback have not been good. In 2020, 29th. In 21, they were 30th. In 22, they were 30th. In 23, they were 27th. In 24, they were 32nd. And this year, through 2 games, they're 28th. I mean, at some point, you're putting all this money into Joe Burrow. If those numbers continuously are in the bottom tier of the NFL, this has got to kind of be on the Bengals front office, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, like you obviously want to go spend money and get the best offensive line that you possibly can to protect the best quarterback in the league. But it's been a revolving door of offensive linemen that have come through. I mean, it's been Jonah Williams. It's been, it's been several guys.
I mean,
And you
they've
went out.
brought in a lot of guys. Riley Reed.
Like,
They've brought in,
you bring
they
in
brought in
Orlando
Lyle
Brown Jr.
Collins.
You bring in Orlando Brown Jr. You bring in.
Yeah.
Who was the guy for the Patriots last year? The last name of Brown they tried to bring in that he lasted all about a game. Like they're trying different people. It's like if it's not working with these guys, they're bringing new guys in. Is it these guys don't have talent? I know Cody Ford does not have talent. That guy's just
he's
terrible.
not starting.
He started too many games. He started too many games for my liking, and I watched his performance on Sunday, and he just whiffs on about everybody. But you bring in this revolving door of offensive linemen, you're trying new things. Is it the coaching? Is it the offensive line coach? I mean, I know we've switched those a time or two. Like what?
Scott Peters is the third offensive line coach we've had in Burrow's tenure.
Is it talent evaluation? Like I don't understand it.
I mean, you look at the Bengals starting offensive line in the Super Bowl, and it's Jonah Williams, Quentin Spain, Trey Hopkins, Hakeem Adeniji, and Isaiah Prince. I think after that game, Jonah Williams is the only one that has started consistently, and several of those guys were out of the league completely.
The next year.
And they still figured out a way to get to the Super Bowl because you've got Joe Burrow under center. I mean, they beat the Titans in Nashville when he got sacked 9 times.
Yeah.
And, after that season, they realized their offensive line was not very good. Mm-hmm. So they went out and got Alex Kappa. Yep. They went out and got Ted Karras. So they were making moves.
And Orlando Brown Jr. came in, same year or the year after?
That was the year after. And, you draft Amarius Mims last year, which looks to be like he's going to be a really good player and hopefully a really good player for a long time. And you re-sign Ted Karras. But my issue is at the guard spot. Like you knew with the Alex Kappa was the worst rated guard in the NFL last year, and they released him as they should have.
Yeah.
But then you make no moves in free agency regarding the guard spot. Yeah, you bring in Lucas Patrick. Yeah, you bring in Dalton Reisner. But both of those guys are scrap heap guys. And then Dylan Fairchild has been actually really good, but it's a little risky to rely on a 3rd-round draft pick that's never played in the NFL to just go in and immediately protect your biggest investment.
No, they absolutely failed in free agency, trying to pick up, a quality piece on the offensive line, especially a guard. When you're paying Joe Burrow the money that he's paying, you don't want to see him on the sidelines with injuries. So I don't know if this will be another way. I don't know if it'll ever be a wake up call to the front office that, hey, something needs to change. You can't just be. I know you're trying to change in and out offensive linemen when things aren't working, but you got to bring in guys like you said that are just more than journeyman scrap players that nobody really wants. I mean, there's a reason that Reisner didn't have a job
Right.
2 weeks ago.
And everybody's acting like he's the savior when he's just got signed a week before the season starts.
I think it was
And
just
and
exciting that we had somebody different, but
well,
yeah, you're right.
no, and depth pieces are important. You've got to have depth at that position because injuries are going to happen. But I mean, and look, here's another thing. Like you can't just put it all on the front office because they did everything that Joe Burrow asked them to do.
Hmm.
And what all these media outlets said is going to be impossible. They brought T and they brought Jamar back. They got Trey, not an extension, but they gave him a raise. They brought Jasecki back. Everything that Joe Burrow asked the front office to do, they did. Should they maybe not listen to Joe Burrow and not re-sign T and spend that money on a guard instead?
Absolutely not. The right move was to re-sign T. I mean, the offensive line has been absolute crap for the last would we say
Well, then
five,
you
six
got to
years? But
fix it at some point.
you went to a Super Bowl with a really bad offensive line.
That's
You went
not a
to an
reason to keep
AFC
doing that.
championship. You went to an AFC championship game with a really bad offensive line, and your offense was ranked in the top of the league last year with Joe Burrow
Yeah.
leading in yards, touchdown passes. Jamar Chase is first, wins the Triple Crown. Like your offense was scoring 30, 40 points a game last year with a really bad offensive line. So it was possible for us to win with a bad offensive line, but then you risk Joe Burrow getting hurt. And
Yeah,
so
and
far he's been hurt 50% of the time. 50% of the time it's good. 50% of the time
what's
he's on the sideline, which is too much.
50% is not good enough.
It's too much. I
And
agree.
and you talked about last year, and this is what makes last year hurt even more is the fact that Joe had the year he had, where he could have easily been the MVP if you're in playoff contention or if you
Yeah.
make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you wasted that season. And when he's missing all of these seasons because of injury, you can't just waste seasons where he's healthy and not make a run to win the Super Bowl.
Well, last year nobody was blaming the offensive line. The offensive line was terrible, but did you hear like we did not lose games last year because the offensive line. Everything was the defense, the defense, the defense, the defense. So there's multiple issues with this franchise, and
Neil,
there's only so much. I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Neil, they were dead last in pass protection last year. Dead last.
And we still put up 40
But
points a game. We didn't lose the game because of the offensive line.
but
They weren't dead last.
despite the fact that you have the worst pass protection and you had one of the worst defenses,
You had
you
one of the best
still
offense.
almost make the playoffs, but you can't continually put him in harm's way like this. And we all knew that the guard position was a problem for this team.
I
We
agree.
all knew that.
Now
This was not
they
a
messed up.
secret.
The franchise messed up. They
But
100% blew it. Then the
but if you're
offseason. They
spending
blew it.
all this money on Trey and T and Jamar, obviously they still have some room in the cap, and they
But they
probably
got
could have
plenty of
signed
room. They have
somebody a
plenty
little
of room.
better than Dalton Reisner or Lucas Patrick. But
Mhm.
you got they are spending money. It's not like they're not spending money.
I yeah. I mean, I still disagree. I think you do re-sign the T's and the Jamars and the Joes and the Treys, and you pay them what they're
I
worth.
didn't say I wouldn't do that. I just think it makes it difficult. And
It makes
Jamar
it
and T were kind of a package deal where they both wanted to get signed. So yeah, you want to keep them in the fold. And as a fan, I want to watch those guys play and I want them to be a part of my team. But it makes this more difficult than a lot of the media wants to make it out to be, to where you should just pay all these guys and then also get 2 all-pro guards.
Oh, it makes it extremely difficult. But the Bengals they are under the cap. They have money to spend. It's all a matter of fact. It's all a matter of will you spend it, and they did not spend it. They said we're done, and they blew it. They blew it.
And, another unfortunate thing about all this is everybody's now comparing Joe Burrow to Andrew Luck.
Get out of here.
And I don't know if you saw the graphic on ESPN, but through 6 seasons, Joe Burrow's in his 6th season, and Andrew Luck had QB contact 828 times, Joe Burrow 634. The contact percentage was Luck 21, Burrow 20. Luck was sacked 174 times. Burrow's already been sacked 201. These numbers are all very comparable, and Luck didn't last that much longer. Like, he was just tired of going through rehab and tired of the mental challenge of, overcoming these injuries. It like, do you agree that Joe Burrow is the new Andrew Luck?
Absolutely not. Joe Burrow's more mentally tough than an Andrew Luck. Joe Burrow's a
I
competitor.
mean, how do you know that?
I mean, just listen to the two of them talk. Andrew Luck,
Yeah,
Andrew Luck's a
wait,
weenie.
what? So that's yours. He's not him because Andrew Luck's a weenie.
Yeah. No, like Joe Burrow is not going out like this. Joe Burrow's not
I
quitting.
I don't
Like
think he's gonna quit either.
you
But
like what have you seen in the 6 years that makes you think that he's not a strong competitor that's going to keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back?
I absolutely think that he's a tough competitor, and I absolutely think he's gonna come back from this, but I mean, at some point, the mental grind having to continuously rehab a different injury could get to you mentally. I mean, that's just life.
I guess. I don't think that happens with Joe Burrow, but it could.
So, I mean, all the talk going into the season was you gotta start better, right? You can't be 0-2. They finally won their first week 2 game last week, in Zach Taylor's tenure. But as we sit right now, 2-0 with Jake Browning for the foreseeable future, would you rather be 0-2 without Burrow or 0-2 with Burrow moving forward?
Ooh. Uh, yeah. I'll take. Man, that's tough. I don't know. I don't know if there's a right answer to that.
There
I
has
mean,
you got
obviously, there.
you you gotta come up with
I
something.
don't know. Uh, I would probably take the 0-2 with Joe Burrow because we've come back from 0-2 before. Um,
They also have it.
I know, but I would still take my guy. I'm still riding with Joe Burrow, but 2-0 with Jake Browning. I have faith in Jake Browning. So I would still rather have Joe Burrow out there leading my team at 0-2 because I think he can bring you back from that and go on a huge win streak like we did. What was that 2-3 years ago when we won what?
The Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, like we won a million games there then like in a row. Give me the Joe Burrow 0-2 compared to Jake Browning 2-0, but that's not a knock on Jake Browning. That's just what I think of Joe Burrow. I think Jake
Right.
Browning can definitely be a quality player, still lead us to a playoff. No question.
Well, I mean, I think Jake Browning is in the top 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think he's an NFL starting quarterback. I think he proved that 2 years ago. I think he proved that on Sunday. But if you're asking me to pick between 2-0 with Jake Browning or 0-2 with Joe Burrow, I mean, it's I'm not this isn't tough.
I like
Like,
to.
with Joe Burrow, you can win a Super Bowl. And even at 2-0, like last year, they get in the playoffs, nobody wants to play them. Even with
What's
that defense, even with that offensive line, nobody wants to play them because you got Joe Burrow under center.
what's to say
And,
we don't make the playoffs and Joe Burrow comes back?
well, I mean, that's a possibility. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not putting that in my mindset because I don't I don't think it's gonna happen. I hope it does. But, I mean, even if he comes back with I mean, he's not coming back with 3 games left. That's best case scenario.
If you are in a playoff hunt, if you are in a playoff spot, let's just
Yeah,
say the Bengals are let's see what would that be? 14 games into the season. The Bengals are sitting there at 8-6.
yeah.
You don't think that Joe Burrow would you don't want him to come back?
100% I would. Yeah. But I'm not just gonna let myself, like, allow myself right now to think that that's gonna happen because I don't think it's gonna happen from everything I've read. Like, 3 months is the best case scenario, and that means him coming back, like, with hardly any practice, just coming in cold and immediately trying to get your team in the playoffs and make a run. And and hopefully at that point, Jake Browning's playing well. I mean, I still even if Jake Browning's playing well and Joe's ready to go, I think you play Joe.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just
Yeah.
I just think it's a stretch to think that he could potentially play games in the regular season and then play in the playoffs. I mean, maybe I'm pessimistic, but
I don't know. I don't think you're giving Jake Browning enough credit.
what I don't I 2 minutes ago I just said he's a top 32 he's an NFL starting quarterback.
Well, there's some
It
bad
just
NFL
happens to be a
starting. I mean, there
backup.
are some bad NFL
I
starting
mean, can you
quarterbacks.
win Can you win a Super Bowl with Jake Browning?
Probably not.
We just talked about all the deficiencies this team
But
had.
can you win a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow when you're 0-2?
Yeah, all you gotta do is get in the playoffs.
Uh, yeah,
You just get in the playoffs.
last year when we were 0-2, we didn't get there.
You didn't, and
That's why I love the
they
2-0
had
start.
mean,
That's
they
why
had
this is a tougher decision than I think you're making it out to be. 2-0, don't underestimate 2-0.
what is the goal at the beginning of every season?
To win the Super Bowl or make the playoffs? One of the two. I don't
The
know.
goal is to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
With Joe Burrow as your quarterback, the goal is to win the Super Bowl.
correct.
I can overcome an 0-2 start and still get in the playoffs, and they proved it. They didn't prove it last year, but they proved it in the past.
I mean, if you're 0-2 with Joe Burrow and you couldn't beat the Browns and the Jaguars, I'm not sure there's really much hope.
Well, I mean, I I'm just picking of those 2 scenarios, and
I agree. I said Joe Burrow. I would rather have Joe Burrow, but it's not a no-brainer to me.
I mean, to me it
I think
is.
Jake Browning with a 2-0 start, you give Jake Browning a 2-0 start, the season still has some potential.
I'm not saying the season's over. I'm saying the hopes of winning a Super Bowl have been diminished a lot, and I think that's fact. The odds have shown that. As the odds for them to win the Super Bowl, I don't have the exact number, but they dropped a lot after Sunday.
Of course.
Um, I I don't know.
Those odds
It's
also
just
drop when you're 0-2, even with the best quarterback.
yeah, we've seen that too, and we've seen that too. But given those 2 scenarios, give me the MVP candidate
I know.
and
I agree with you. I agree with you.
figure out a way to get in the playoffs. And once you're in the playoffs, I mean, anything can happen at that point. And I mean, we as bad as their defense was, as bad as their offensive line was last year, nobody wanted to see the Cincinnati Bengals in the playoffs.
No, they did not. We were playing. We won 5 in a row to end the year.
Yeah, and their defense was playing a little better. I mean, I think some of the teams that
Yeah,
they had were playing were not some of the toughest offenses, but
yeah.
they still had improved. And yeah, I mean, nobody wanted to see them in the postseason. But
No.
yeah,
All the Bengals better learn to run the ball.
well,
Their
that's something
running
they got
game,
to do better because they haven't done that
their
just
running
very
game the
well in the
first 2
first 2
games has
weeks.
been absolutely dreadful. They need to get a running game going.
What's last one on this topic, and then we'll move on to something else. But what's the Bengals record with Jake Browning at QB if he finishes the regular season?
Finishes the regular season, probably 9-8.
I think 8-9 and 8-9. I think that's going to be the number. They're going to be competitive. You got to
9 and
win
8.
this.
I mean, if you get to 9-8, 9-8 might get like 9-8 last year was almost good enough.
No, I think 9-8 can very well get you in the playoffs.
So if we can just find a way to get one more win, if you can just get to that 10-7,
You got to win this week in Minnesota against Carson Wentz, and then
it's not.
and then you're 3-0, and you kind of figure it out from there. But the schedule gets a lot tougher after the Minnesota game.
There's 2. I mean, you look at the Bengals schedule. It's not. There's 2 3-game stretches that are really damn hard, and it's the stretch where you go on Monday night at Denver,
Right.
home to the Detroit Lions, and then you're on the road at Lambeau with probably the best against the best team in the NFL right now, Green Bay Packers. Then it eases up a little bit. Then you've got Steelers at home. Then you've got the Bears at home. You got the Jets at home. Then toward the end of the season when you got that other stretch of Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, and then every 10 of the year you're home against the Browns, home against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 3-game stretches that are going to be tough to weather. But all of the other games on that schedule are 100% winnable.
No, I agree, and I think winning on Sunday at Minnesota really kind of sets you up to where when you go into that 3-game stretch, you've kind of got some leeway.
You
And
do.
look, Jake Browning's going to have some motivation this weekend. This is the team that cut him. This is the team that he beat 2 years ago, and he
Yep.
said, "Don't cut me." Right? You
Oh,
don't cut
he
me.
was fired up that game,
So
and he'll be fired up again this
he'll
Sunday.
he'll be fired up. I think he'll play well. I think he'll give the team the other ball. He's proved that he'll do that. He'll throw picks, but he's also got the ability to move the ball downfield and find find Jamar. And you just gotta win on Sunday against Minnesota, get to 3-0, and then kind of see what happens.
Also, if you're Jake Browning, like now's your chance. I mean, I think he did really well 2 years ago and proved himself to be a really good quarterback. But now, if you're playing the rest of the season, you're potentially playing for starting quarterback job next year.
There's
If
no
you
doubt.
go in and play well,
That's no
like this is
brainer.
an audition for you. If you
Absolutely.
do well with this team, A, you're setting yourself up for a nice little contract, and B, you could be a starting quarterback in this league. And he hears the noise. I'm sure he's heard the noise of should the Bengals go talk to Atlanta for Kirk Cousins or who the Bengals going to like. The Bengals need to go find another quarterback. Like Jake Browning says, screw you. Like this is my time. So
Yeah.
this is some motivation for him. He's got something to prove.
It's his girl's time too. And the TV cameras are gonna find her on Sunday, and
With good reason.
Dave Lapham in the radio booth's gonna find her too.
I mean, with good reason.
Yeah, absolutely good reason. So, yeah, Bengals, they got off to the 2-0 start, but once again, Joe Burrow goes down with injury, and we cry a little bit. But one of the positives on Sunday for you was your surprise pick to make the playoffs, the Colts. Continue to win
That's right.
2-0 with the 29-28 win over the Broncos. They got a 45-yard field goal from Spencer Schrader at the buzzer after he missed the 60-yarder, where one of the
That's
Broncos
terrible play.
linebackers was flagged for leverage.
Well, what was the play call that they even ran to set up this little small draw play up the middle? Like we're gonna take the 60-yarder. Like they played for the 60-yarder, which made no sense to me.
Yeah, it made. I mean, also Danny Dimes has been playing really well. Like, give him a chance to move the ball downfield. But what was your take on the leverage penalty that moved them up 15 yards and gave them a chance to win the game again after they were short on the 60
It was
yard?
weak. I mean, it was weak. I understand, like you trying to like. I mean, he didn't really bull rush the center. I mean, to me, it didn't look like there was much contact. Did he touch him? Yes, but I don't think it gave him any kind of advantage or anything. I don't understand the whole safety issue, but I thought that one was kind of weak.
So watching it, I absolutely agreed with you. I thought it was a bad call. But then, like Sean Payton after the game says it's the correct call.
By
And
rule.
yeah, I rule it's the correct call. But the mistake, and he admitted this. Why are you even trying to block a 60-yarder?
I agree.
Like, why are you even putting yourself in that position? Now, I mean, the chances of them making a 60-yarder are, I mean, I feel like kickers are making more of them every
Yeah.
year, right?
Right.
So the chances are getting better, but you put yourself in that position where you're giving them 50 yards of field position. And I mean, other than the Tennessee Volunteers kicker, who was never going to make that 42-yarder on
Yeah,
Saturday,
we all saw.
you,
We all
you
saw
feel,
it.
you feel pretty confident that an NFL kicker is going to knock down a 45-yard and win the game.
100%. I agree with you. There was no reason for him to touch the center, try to block it, anything. Because, like you said, if they had like a graphic on there of chances to make, like PGA, like percent chance he makes this putt,
Yeah.
percent chance he makes that field goal, probably 15% or less.
Yeah. So Danny Dimes, once again, 23 of 34 for 316, a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown.
Is he the new betting favorite to win the MVP award without Joe Burrow?
I don't know about that, but I know he's getting picked up in everybody's fantasy leagues.
As he should.
Like, nobody picked him up after week 1. This is Danny Dimes. This is a one-game thing.
I tried to tell you.
Now he's on everybody's fantasy team.
And also Jonathan Taylor is running like Jonathan Taylor of old, the peak Jonathan Taylor. So Colts, what do they have? Have they punted yet? I don't even know if they punted yet.
That's the great stat. They have not punted in 2 games. I think they punted once, but it was called back for penalty. I can't remember what the actual numbers. We need a fact check guy, but it's been a long time since a team has gone the first 2 games without punting. And I'll try to look it up here in a second.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened before, but it has to have been a while.
Yeah. So Colts moved 2-0. Danny Dimes MVP after 2 seasons. Yeah. Raise the banner in Indy.
Let's do it. Division champs.
The other big game on Sunday was in the 4:00 window, the rematch of the Super Bowl where the Eagles moved to 2-0. The Chiefs moved to 0-2. What everybody's talking about after that game is the tush push. And I mean, you see video replay where they slow it down, and it's very obvious that several of the Eagles' offensive linemen are offsides.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what it took to end the tush push, the Chiefs losing to it?
I mean, would that surprise anybody? Probably not. Like the Chiefs always get their way. But let's be honest, it was absolute total BS what happened on that Tush play. Like
But
the offensive, the line is moving before the ball is snapped. They're getting that head start. It's impossible to stop that. And in the Bengals game, they called an offsides on Risner on our first goal line sneak, which
yeah,
our version of the tush push. They
well,
called the Bengals offense.
nobody's figured out a way to replicate it. So,
I know, but I mean, it's a clear penalty. I I don't know why you can't review it. No, they need to, but it
but
was absurd.
but you're right. There's absolute if they're getting a head start and they're getting that low, you have zero chance. And then Jalen Hurts is, I mean, as strong as any quarterback in the league, is just
Yeah,
going to come plowing through there. And
you got
that's why
to.
it's been as successful as it has.
Well, you
But
also have one of the strongest running backs in the league pushing him as well.
yeah, I mean, but do you see what Dean Blandino? Do you see what he said like during the game?
I did not know.
So he's obviously Fox's rules analyst.
Yeah.
Comes in when they're having any kind of review to kind of give his 2 cents. But during the game, on the broadcast, this is Dean Blandino. I am done with the tush push, guys. It's just a hard play to officiate. He then went on to say it's 50-50 that the tush push survives into next season.
I mean, they just voted on it. They're just going to bring it back to a vote again.
Well, they did vote on it. I think it was 2 teams short of
Yeah.
it being eliminated. 22 of the 32 teams voted to ban it. To ban it, I think 2 more needed to vote to ban it in order for it to be banned. I just said banned 47 times in 2 seconds. But yeah,
But
I
why?
mean,
Have you seen what other team does a tush push? Like,
nobody can do it.
so then why wouldn't all other 31 teams say ban it?
I,
We're like,
I
they're
think
not doing it. So
the
why?
Chargers, I think, tried to do it,
But like,
and
come on.
it looked like
Yeah,
a
that's what I'm saying. Like,
reject
if you're the
version
other
of the
31
tush push.
teams, if you're the other 31 teams that aren't even doing this play, why don't you just say ban it? Doesn't
And it's,
affect you.
I mean, it's not a football play. This is rugby.
It is rugby. It's absolutely rugby.
And if somebody invented a play in basketball where there was a certain situation where it was you were unable to stop it, which I can't really think of a comparison, but if this happened in another sport, I don't think you would allow it to continue to happen, would you?
No, I would assume not. No.
So I don't know.
I don't understand that if you're like this, if you're the New England Patriots or the San Diego or the LA Chargers, and you say no, don't ban it. Well, why not? Well, you're not running it, so what's the like? You're only helping your opponent by not banning it. You're not running the play, so why does it matter to you? Like, why do you want to keep it? I just
It's
don't get
also
that.
it's also boring.
It is very boring. They run
Like,
it a million times a game.
is 4th and 1 not supposed to be like the most exciting play in football?
It's
Or
supposed to
one
be.
of?
Yeah,
It's one of? Like
it's
in
time to get a
most
little creative. You can do a
you
play action, throw a bomb. You can do a sneak,
yeah.
maybe something else. Yeah,
And field position can change. Like if you don't get it,
yeah,
right? It's a
yeah,
big chance for us to get the ball.
yeah.
And a lot of times on the other side of the field where we're, got short field position. And now with the Eagles, every single time they're going for it, I mean, that there's no chance that you're gonna stop it.
On Sunday when the Eagles run this again, I'll bet they get flagged more than one time in the next game when they try to run this. Because
They're
they're going to be watching
gonna
this
be looking
now.
for it.
Like this is going to be a major point of emphasis watching them when they line up for this play.
Yeah. So after 2 weeks, we have several 2-0 teams, which the Bengals are finally included in that number. The
Mhm.
Bills, the Bengals, the Colts, the Chargers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Bucks, the entire NFC West, the 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Rams. I think last year, 7 of 8 teams that started 2-0 made the playoffs. If you had to pick one of those 2-0 teams not to make the playoffs, who you rolling with?
I'm just picking one.
Just
Picking
pick
one team. I'm not picking the Cincinnati Bengals if that's the case. If I had to pick two, the Cincinnati Bengals might be in there, but it's got to be the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I think that's their 2-0 record. I think right now is smoke and mirrors.
who
They
were their
play
wins against? You'd look that up.
what's that?
Who were their wins against?
Yeah, they had a one less than a touchdown win against the lowly New Orleans Saints, and then also a less than a touchdown win against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
So not exactly two juggernauts that they're barely squeaking by here in weeks 1 and 2. When their schedule gets a little tougher, they get into division play and they're playing, the 2-0 Rams and the Seahawks and the 2-0 49ers. They're still step up in competition. They're not gonna. They'll come back to earth.
Well, and I think the division plays a big role in that too. I think the Niners are pretty good. I think the Rams are pretty good. Seahawks just went on the road and won in Pittsburgh. I think they're pretty good.
Yep.
And I look at those 4 teams, and the Cardinals to me are the 4th best team of that division.
Yeah.
And yeah, you want to start off 2-0, but yeah, that's one of the teams. I'm gonna say the Colts, and I just don't think that they can maintain. I know that's gonna piss you off, but I don't think they can maintain this throughout the year. Like,
So
maybe
who's
this
gonna
is
catch
gaining
them in
out
that
spot.
division?
Huh?
Who's gonna catch them in the division?
I think the Jaguars are better this year. I don't think the Texans are as bad as they've been in the first 2 games. Both of their games have been close. They haven't looked great. I'm not gonna say they have, but still both of their games have been competitive. I think the Jaguars under Liam Cohen are a lot better than they were last year. You still got a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence who is, I still think, one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Oh,
So
wow.
I just think that division's a little tough. Let's
That
make
that
Danny Dimes
that
prove me wrong
that
again.
guy hold on now. Hold on. That division is a little tough.
It is not tough.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're right.
The
You
AFC
can
I don't wanna
call me
ever
out
hear
on
you
that.
say that the
Call me
AFC
out on
South
that.
is a little tough. Like, we're
Call me out
let's
on
walk
that.
that back.
It's not. It is not tough, and I'm glad that you called me out on that. I still think the Jaguars and the Texans are a little better than the Colts long term. And dude, Danny Dimes, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. You've proved me wrong the first 2 weeks. Continue to do
Yeah,
it. I didn't pick you up on fantasy waiver wires because I'm still not exactly sold, but we'll see.
I mean, they beat a pretty good team, the Denver Broncos. I know it took a penalty to
It
get
took
him
a
over the
little
hump, but
miracle.
but that's a pretty good team that they just beat on Sunday.
I know, and I the Denver has great defense, and that's why everybody's so high on them. I want to see Bo Nix in year 2. See what he's going to look like. Is he going to have a little sophomore slump? I'm not as high on the Broncos as a lot of people because of that. Their defense is going to keep them in games. But I mean, Cortland Sutton hasn't done much in the first 2 games. He's been. I know that because he's on pretty much all of my fantasy teams. Uh, so I mean, and also this is a hard exercise. Like, a lot of these 2-0 teams are good, and they're like the Bills. I'm not going to pick the Bills not to make the playoffs.
No.
And I think the obvious pick for a lot of people would be the Bengals because Joe Burrow's down. But I still think that, like I said, I think Browning's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I still think they can make the playoffs.
No, I agree with that.
On the other side, flip the coin. The 0-2 teams,
Yeah.
the Jets, the Dolphins, the Browns, the Texans, the
Oof.
Titans, the Chiefs, the Giants, the Bears, the Saints, the Panthers. Those are your 0-2 teams. I got a number for you. Post 2020 expansion, when they expanded the playoffs to 7 teams on each side,
Yeah.
the success rate for 0-2 teams has been 38 out of 43 have missed the postseason. So 5 teams since 2020 have started 0-2 and made the postseason. We talked about this a little beforehand. Who's going to be your 0-2 team to make the playoffs? Can you pick somebody besides the Chiefs?
I mean, no. No. You named a lot of really, really bad teams on that list right there, that 0-2 list. I mean, I think the obvious answer is the Chiefs. I don't think they're going to win their division. I think the Chargers, I mean, I picked the Broncos preseason, but the Chargers just look like they're head and shoulders above everybody right now after 2 weeks. I think the Chiefs can still get a wild card, especially with Joe Burrow being hurt. That kind of brings the Bengals down a little bit. But it's the Chiefs. Mahomes is still a winner. They still have talent. They can get Rashee Rice back here in 3-4 more weeks. If Worthy can get back healthy. I mean, they lost a 10-point game to the defending Super Bowl champions. It was a 1-score game against the Chargers out in Brazil. So they've been competitive against two really, really good teams. You know, I think they're going to win their fair share of games and probably get a wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's the obvious answer. That's why I tried to see if you could pick somebody
If I
besides
had to
them
pick,
to make
if
this a
I
little
had
more
to pick,
interesting.
there's only one other option because, like I
It's the
said, the
Texans.
other team, it's the Texans.
Yeah,
It's
it's the
absolutely.
Texans.
I mean, they played two tough games against a playoff team in the Bucks and who they I forgot who they played week 1, but
Lost to the Rams.
the Rams, another playoff team. So you know they played two tough opponents, played them very tough. I mean, they had that game almost won the other night, except for Baker Mayfield was Baker and came back and drove them down the field and won the game. But the Texans probably the other choice because everybody else on that list is just booty.
Dude, you mentioned Baker. Like, how about his story, dude?
I actually love it, man. Like I thought he was like in college, he was a little obnoxious, not very likable. But since he's gotten to the league, thank God he's off the Browns because I hated him when he was with the Browns. But I've actually become a fan of his with the Bucks. I mean, he was with the Panthers, never got a fair shot there. Where else has he been? Has he been anywhere
Well,
else?
obviously, he was started with the Browns, and then went to the Panthers, then he went to the Rams for,
The
like, a day.
Rams. Yep, the Rams for a day. Yeah. So I love to see him get his resurgence there in Tampa. He's playing well. Look, led him to the playoffs last year. He's finally got some talent around him like he didn't have in Cleveland or in Carolina. He does have a decent football team that he can play with, and he's showing. I mean, he's a competitive dude. Like he's a winner.
Well, you think the Browns would rather have Baker out there than 80-year-old Joe Flacco? But, like, I know, like, his story to me is, I mean, he was obviously a top draft pick at the Browns, and they kinda gave up on him pretty early, really, for somebody you drafted as high as they drafted him, and then he goes to the Panthers, he goes to the Rams, and he's seeking out a job, and, I mean, if he fails at this Bucks opportunity, he's done. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably not getting another opportunity after
No.
playing for 4 franchises,
No.
and to do what he's done at the Bucks, they've made the playoffs every year he's been the starting quarterback, he got his extension, he got paid, and when they're down in the 4th quarter and he's got the ball, do you ever have a doubt that they're gonna go down and score and win the game?
No. He's proven it. No.
And then he gets hurt on that scramble,
He
and
got
he's like, "Oh, you get jeez, his knee," and then he just remembers that he's Baker, and he has to get up and go run the next play.
Yeah. He gave was it Gardner Johnson a little earful
Right.
to his
I mean,
face. Yeah, I love it. That's what he does. That's that's
yeah,
that's Baker being Baker. I love that
I
competitiveness.
I think if he's your quarterback, you just love it.
Absolutely.
And, we talked about the Browns, and one of the things on Sunday is the Ravens hosted the Browns.
Yeah.
Did you know that they had a little pregame ceremony for their 30th anniversary in Baltimore while
Oh
Cleveland
no.
while Cleveland is there?
Oh no.
Is that kind of
That's
Art
just rubbing.
Modell and them rubbing it in the
Oh,
Browns'
that is
face?
just rubbing the Cleveland Brown faithful. It's in their face on that.
And then
That's brutal.
and then you have to add to the story, you've got Joe Flacco being recognized, who's the Browns quarterback, because obviously he's, up until Lamar, the best quarterback in Ravens history.
Yeah. I did not know that they celebrated the 30th anniversary of them making the move to Baltimore from Cleveland. That's rough.
They claimed that it was inadvertent,
Gee,
and
sure.
it just happened to be the first game of the season, or first home game of the
We
season,
all knew that was. I mean, we've known it was
which
the
it
first game of
was,
the season for a couple months now.
but yeah, a lot of Browns fans not very happy about the Ravens honoring their 30th anniversary in Baltimore while the Browns are in the house. Another thing, Neil, this week that has caught a lot of attention is you're watching the Raiders play, and you see Tom Brady in the coach's booth with the headset a night after or a day after he called the game on Fox.
Hmm.
I mean, to me, as somebody who's been around coaches, who's been around media, there's a little bit of conflict of interest here because, the broadcasters are going to want to talk to coaches to get some insight. And if I'm a coach and I'm talking to Brady before a game and we play them in 4 weeks, I'm gonna leave out some information, and therefore Tom Brady can't do the best job that he can, and he's making what $40 million a year on Fox.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely a conflict of interest. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if you are one of those opponents that plays the Raiders down the road, obviously you're not going to give out a lot of information. You know, are you just going to give out basic stuff that Tom Brady can just look at game film and figure out himself? about your team, or are you going to go in a little more depth? Obviously, you're not going to go in depth on it because he is,
Yeah.
an owner of the Raiders. But if you're Fox, what do? Do you say, Brady, you can't sit in your coach's box of the team that you own?
I mean, to
You're not
me,
you're
he's
not
got to
taking
pick.
him off the air. I mean, he's
He's got
Tom
to pick
Brady.
one of the.
Off the
He's got
air.
to pick one or the other. He's got to
Why?
pick one or the other. Like it's you can't do both. And I mean, I'm not going to turn down a $40 million job a year to talk about to talk about football, but also like he's probably not going to give up his ownership of the Raiders. So I don't know
Who
what he does.
who's gonna tell him that you can't do both? Somebody gonna tell him you absolutely can't do both?
I
Or
mean, do you think Roger Goodell's going to have the balls to do that?
no, absolutely not. And neither is Fox. Fox isn't gonna be like, all right, you can't do this.
So
Like, if you're gonna work for us, like, no.
it sure as hell ain't going to be Nick Evans that tells Tom Brady that he has to pick one, even though that's
Nobody's
what I
telling
think.
Tom Brady anything. I mean, if Tom Brady feels that he's doing something wrong and comes to that decision on his own, then that's probably the only way that this is going to happen. But there is no rule that the NFL is going to come up with, and Fox isn't going to say you can't do this or
I
you're
mean,
not going to be on the air. Like, nobody's going to tell him to do it. He's going to have to do it on his own.
well, if coaches continue to not tell him anything and he's not getting the insight that broadcasters are supposed to get, I mean, maybe
That's the way you do it. I think
Fox
that's
would
the
be the
way.
only one because it ain't gonna be Roger Goodell.
No, that's the
Fox would
only
be the
way.
only one that would be like, you know what, dude, you got to pick one or the other.
Yeah. The
And
only the only way that you're going to get him out of the only way that you're going to get him to pick one or the other is, as you said, coaches don't talk to him or coaches don't give him
yeah,
much information, and he ends up sucking at his job on Fox.
I mean, you see him with the headset on, dude. He could start calling plays.
Tom Brady, Tom Brady's seen enough football, and he's smart enough to figure some things out on his own. So even if coaches didn't talk to him about a lot of things, I think he could study that. Like, I'm sure he preps several days in advance for the game that he knows he's going to call and looks at film and reports and all of that. And I think he can come to his own conclusions. I
I
don't
think
think
he can too, but you're still missing some things. Like you can't read coaches' minds and know what they're thinking and know what their mindset is going to games. And that's a part of a broadcaster's job is to have that conversation. Now, a coach doesn't have to tell you what they're going to run on third down. He doesn't have to tell you what they're going to run to start the game, what defense they're going to run primarily. But still, they're going to share you insight that help you call the game. That's a part of being a broadcaster. And he's not allowed to do his job to his best ability because of his other responsibilities. And I think that's an issue.
it's an issue for who? Fox?
Yeah, it's an issue for Fox, especially when they're paying him as much as they are.
And you don't think you think people are going to stop watching Fox because Tom Brady is not doing the job to his best of his abilities? No,
I mean,
bro.
no, I
No.
don't.
No.
And maybe I'm the only person it irks, but I just see him in the booth with the headset on a night after he called a game. And I'm just like, dude,
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird. And
can you
it's
really do both? And it's so I guess he's like, they're never going to do a Raiders game, right? That would really be a conflict of interest.
yeah, yeah, probably not.
So, yeah, I don't know what the resolution is here, and it's probably nothing. It's definitely nothing this year. I I just think there's something off on it, and I don't know, just kind of irks me a little
I
bit.
guess at some point there's going to come a time where Brady needs to figure out what he wants to do with the rest of his football life. Does he want to get into the ownership part of it? Does he want to
He's
get
already
into
done that.
No, I know, but like, does he want to continue that? Does he want to be like an owner? Does he want to be a coach? Maybe, I don't know. Or is he happy just sitting in the TV booth making his $50 million like the rest of us would be?
Well,
But maybe he just likes that side of football, like that being involved in the actual game of football. That maybe he quits the TV gig and gets more involved in that coaching / ownership role, or maybe he becomes a GM or something like that.
yeah, I mean, maybe he will come to a decision, and he's probably the only one that because he's not going to be forced to make a decision by either
Yeah.
side, and we've
So
discussed that, but I don't know. It's just kind of odd to me. You've got an NFL owner calling games, but when it's the goat, I guess you can do whatever you want.
yeah, he's untouchable. He's untouchable.
So, we haven't talked much college football. It's been primarily NFL, but Clemson lost another tough one.
Yep.
To Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech looks real, dude.
Haynes King,
Nice King.
Jamal Haynes. There, that Tech's rolling. Yeah,
Yeah, you see him on game day, dude, and he's warming up and he's interviewing with the game day crew. He just he just looks composed. Looks like the real deal. That I think obviously that's a big win for them. But
Well, how about the
Clemson
end
now.
how about the end of that game where with no timeouts, they run a
Oh,
play, do the fire drill, run the kicking team on for a 55-yarder, and the dude just straight drilled it. I mean, it wasn't even close.
I mean,
He
just
hit it, would have been 70 yards, it looked like. Like,
just
an
money.
incredible kick.
No, it was awesome. And anytime you're running that fire drill, whether it's from 30 or 40, like it's still tough because you're
Yeah,
running a lot of moving parts. And it's the snap, it's the hold, it's the kick. Like everything's got to be perfect. And they nailed that thing. But
yeah,
what a win for Coach Key and Georgia Tech. They look like they're going to be competing to potentially win an ACC title, maybe even sneak into the playoff. Obviously, if they could do that, they would
yeah.
get in the playoff. But they look like a real contender. But what do you think, Dabo? Would he give his team's
What's
grade
on the
this week?
report card? What's on the Dabo report card this week?
Is this going to become a segment every week? He started it. We didn't start this.
Uh, he did start it. I think the grades have slowly they're bringing the class average down, let's just say that.
But he had a little presser earlier this week and had some things to say, right?
He did. What did he say? Let me find this quote here. He said, Dabo Sweeney responding to critics. I mean, quote, I mean, if Clemson is tired of winning, they can send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the bench. Like,
I mean, he's feeling it a little bit. I think you can tell from that quote.
I mean,
I mean, they're 1-2, and they were down 16-0 to Troy in their one win. You bring like a lot of guys were picking them to be the number one team in the country. They returned they returned a lot of their starters from a year ago,
yeah,
and it hasn't looked pretty the first 3 weeks. And we thought maybe their grade went up a little bit in that win over Troy after what he scored them in LSU, like a 38 or something like that.
yeah, yeah.
And I mean, after you lose to Georgia Tech, I don't know what their grade is, but
I mean,
he's feeling the pressure a little bit.
I mean, I guess he's feeling the pressure. I guess Clemson fans aren't used to, getting off to 1 and 2 starts, and they're all upset about it. But I mean, you got to be if you're a Clemson fan, you got to be real here. Dabo's won you 8 conference championships in the last 10 years. He's won you multiple national championships. He's been in the college football playoff seemingly half of the years that it's been in existence. Like he's a legend. Like it would be a huge mistake if you try to run off Dabo Sweeney.
They're not
And
trying
he's
to win.
right. Like he ain't quitting. So if you run him off, he's just going to go somewhere else. He's going to coach, and he's probably going to be successful there too
He
at
ain't
some
going nowhere.
big game. But
He ain't going nowhere. I mean, he built that program.
I mean, I understand the frustrations, but come on, like the dude's a legend. 8 out of 10, 8 conference championships in 10 years,
No,
and not
he's
saying
not
they're
going
out
nowhere.
of it this year. They run the table this year, they win another one. Like
Yeah, and they are out of the top 25. Notre Dame's all the way down at the bottom of the top 25. They're 0-2. After the first 3 weeks of the season, whose position would you rather be in, Notre Dame or Clemson's?
hmm. I would probably. I mean, Notre Dame's looked like a better team, and they got absolutely hosed by not getting that holding call against A&M. They went toe to toe with Miami at Miami. I think Notre Dame's probably a little bit of a better team, has a better chance of coming back, but they don't have that conference championship and that conference championship potential game to play in and win to get themselves into the playoffs. So they are relying strictly on being an at-large team. So maybe you would rather be Clemson because you still have that path.
Come on, man. The committee ain't leaving Notre Dame out if they're close.
I know.
You know that.
I know
But
that.
you're right, like, I get it, the holding call, like, they might hold on every single call, like, every single play.
I mean, that dude got tackled. We all saw it. He got wrapped around the waist and tackled
Yeah.
from behind. It was egregious.
No, it was bad. It was bad. But I think you're right. I think of those 2 teams, I think I'd rather be in Notre Dame's position right now. That is what you said, right?
I said I would because I think they're the better team,
Yeah.
yes. But, they don't have that conference championship game to fall back on if they need it.
Yeah, but like I said, nobody's gonna leave Notre Dame out if they're close to the hunt.
I agree.
So, Neil, I guess one little last thing here before we wrap it up. A couple weeks ago, one of our I don't remember what episode it was, but we were talking at the beginning of college football season, how
Yeah.
we were already hadn't even started the NFL yet, how we were already annoyed at these third down announcers every single time there's a third down, whether it's NFL, whether it's college, no matter where it is, they all sound exactly the same with the third down
Oh man.
chant.
Oh yeah.
And one of the most annoying things in football, and I hate how it's grown to what it is.
Uh huh.
But we got a story regarding the third down chant.
Oh, can't. Let's hear this one.
Dale Carter was, I think the Chiefs have multiple PA guys,
Okay.
but he was the main guy that was responsible for what he called his iconic third down call.
Oh, iconic.
Iconic. So,
Okay.
I mean, everybody does it. I don't know how it can be iconic if everybody's doing the exact same thing, but he's been doing it. He's been the PA guy for the Chiefs since 2009.
Uh huh.
So 16 years.
Uh huh.
And he's quoted by saying, "Last season, as we were heading to the playoffs, the people I worked for told me they were hearing from a high level that someone had heard another PA guy at another stadium really amp it up on third down, and they wanted me to experiment with different calls." He wasn't feeling that. Like, it's iconic, it's his.
I
I
mean,
don't really know how these other people are making it different when they all sound exactly the same. But on at the beginning of September, they told Dale Carter that they wanted one of their other PA guys to do the third down call to shake things up.
oh no.
You don't know what Dale Carter's response was?
Oh no. What did old Dale do?
He said, "That's my red line. Good luck." And he
Oh,
quit.
oh, out of all the things possible to quit over, the iconic third down call was it for him, huh?
So, did Dale make the right call or not? Quitting his job
After
because he didn't want to give up the third down chant.
I mean, if that's the reason you're giving up your job, then did you really, really like your job to begin with? If that's the reason. I mean, you've been there for
He had
60.
other quotes talking about how much he enjoyed it and like this was his time to move on and do other things and spend time with family.
Sure.
I mean,
But I
it's one
think that maybe if that's the reason he was already looking for a reason to get out, maybe
dude,
it
you're not
was.
traveling with the team. Like you maybe have 2 games, 3 at the most a month. Like, is that really keeping you away from your family?
I don't know. There's got to be something else because I mean, if you've been there for 16 years and you think that you're an icon and that the fans all love you and everything else, then why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?
Because
To me,
he's butthurt a little bit,
over something that nobody really even likes anyway. Now, are
but
we the minority? Are we the
we're not
minority here?
we are absolutely not the minority.
We might need a poll. We need to put a
Might
poll
need a
out there on the Facebook or somewhere. I want to know people's thoughts on the third down. Do people act? Maybe there are some fans that get fired up over some other dudes. What did he say? He amped them up a little more or
It's
something.
just a little different. They were looking for something a little different. And look,
Yeah,
from our argument standpoint, yeah, we would love something a little different because they're all the same, but I don't believe that it actually is different.
well, to see that's my question is if old Dale, the old iconic Dale who started this whole third down, somebody else did something different. What did that sound like? Because to me, they all sound the same. I'd like to
Well,
know what somebody thought
well,
was different. I'd
I
like
guess
to
we gonna
hear.
have to
I guess maybe I need to hear the two versions to figure it out. But
we gonna have to pay a little attention next time the Chiefs got a home game.
maybe they start beatboxing or something.
Dude, I guarantee you, it sounds exactly the same.
It probably does.
And like these marketing people are probably idiots. Dale's probably overreacting by quitting. Like it's all just a bunch of hard-headed people doing dumb stuff. And now it ends with Dale spending more time with his family and some other guy who's now going to do the same exact damn thing that Dale already did.
Oh man, yeah. I need to tune in the next Chiefs game. See if I can
No,
hear it.
we have to, but I do. I hope Dale enjoys the time with his family. I hope he's able to rest his vocal cords a little bit and I compared it to what to try to squeeze one out, like you're constipated. Hopefully, he can handle his business a little better now that he doesn't have to do the third down chain all the time.
That's a good point. Good point.
But yeah, dude, like it's funny. Like we just talked about this 2 weeks ago, and some dude is quitting because somebody else is taking over his job
Over
and wants
something that
to.
nobody even likes anyway.
Well, maybe some people like it. Marketing people obviously love it. The people that are overseeing the marketing of all college and
Yeah.
NFL teams, but don't count me into that
No.
mix. But
I would like to see. Can we put a poll up this week? See if anybody responds. The 2 people that listen, see if they actually like the third
yeah,
down.
that was going to be my concern with the poll is really 3-2. Is that really we want something out there where
It's a
5 people are
majority.
voting in our poll?
It's a small majority.
I mean,
I mean,
maybe,
we did get some feedback. Now we did get some feedback, in the comments on the burger debate. So maybe we'll get a little bit of feedback
yeah.
on this.
Will we do a Sunday pod now that the NFL season is here? We're 0 for 2.
Yeah, I feel good about this week. We are the Bengals are on the road. We still have to figure out where we're watching this game. If we're watching it at voted #1 sports basement bar in the city of Louisville, Tailgaters, or you could be watching it in my basement. Your basement doesn't have a ceiling right now, probably, so
It's just a
that
laundry
might be
room.
that one might be out a little bit. We'll
The
see
one
when you out
advantage
like in a couple days.
the one advantage was it's only the laundry room, so I can just shut the door. It's now all cleaned up. We took care of that today.
Okay,
But
that's good. But we got to figure that out. And I think we could probably pull off a pod this Sunday.
all right, well, let's see what we can do. Hopefully, we're talking to you again on Sunday night as we'll wrap up the college football and
I do have
and
one more.
NFL
I have
weekend. Dude,
one
I'm
more
doing the
thing.
wrap up, and you're doing
One
one
more.
more.
We're
All
bringing it
right,
back up. Not guess what tomorrow is. Do you
what's
know what
tomorrow?
tomorrow is?
What's tomorrow?
It's National Burger Day.
All right, so I know
So
where
if
you're going.
anybody wants to try the double cheeseburger from Dairy Queen, it's free with a $1 purchase. So go to your local Dairy Queens, try you the double cheeseburger. All you gotta do is spend $1, get your small Coke to go with it, and tell me what you think.
Have you
Or if you
already
like
secured a
McDonald's is bringing back 50-cent double cheeseburgers if you want to
Have
go
you
there.
already secured a sponsorship?
Yeah, me too.
Well, if so DQ's free.
DQ is free with the $1 purchase. We have McDonald's with a 50-cent double cheeseburger. Burger King, a free cheeseburger with a $1 purchase. Half price Western cheeseburgers at Hardee's. Sonic, buy one, get one free cheeseburger. So, it's whatever they like, whatever our fans like, everybody's got a deal. So go get your cheeseburger from your favorite burger place tomorrow.
Look at you
Mine's
bringing in some deep research for the pod.
Mine's Dairy Queen. You know I'll be there.
Dude, so, like, can you go to different DQs and get a bunch of them?
Oh, yeah.
So,
Absolutely. Why
just
not?
make sure there's no plastic in it.
Just make sure you spend your $1.
Yeah. Alright. Hopefully, we're talking to you on Sunday. Obviously, we'll wrap up college and NFL schedule. For Neil, I'm Nick. Thanks for listening to the Height Differential, powered by Grizzly.